Been a pattern for the last 2 years or so. Once these girls have, they say my fiance, it's a wrap on anything that the dude does is stupid, any kind of abuse, any. Well, here I am finally. I had to change the show to later because I woke up at 5 o'clock and I was like, oops. So it took me a minute to run around and get everything set up. And my printer was giving me drama. So, but I finally got the new page. Because remember, I said I would get Candace to add some questions to make it, more of a full show. I did get some tech support in as far as my internet cable went. So I'm going to hope they changed a bunch of settings on my router, from there. So they said it should work better now. I sure hope so because that was so raggedy the other day. I couldn't take it. I just couldn't take it. Plus, I paid too much money for this stuff. Yes. Hey, everybody. I hope everybody can still make it because, different stuff be happening. Let me turn this light on so I can see something here. I need to be able to see my text. Okay. So where do we leave off? We left off with question number 13. So we're going to move on, picking up from our show, our Sunday show with today. So it's part 2, basically. So here we go. Question number 14. This is a young lady in the 28 to 34 age group from Costa Mesa, California. Summary of issue. I'm pretty sure my trans friend wants to date me, and I need advice on how to let him down gently. I'm afraid I'll do or say the wrong thing that will affect the progress he's made with his relatively recent transition. Okay, so let me try to get this straight. So trans man is a girl, right? I just, I have a hard time with this concept. So just if I got it wrong, just let me know in the chat. Is that right? If somebody says they're a trans man, they were a woman in there now trying to be a man. Is that what's going on, right? Okay, so I am a female with a trans man friend. We are both in our 30s. He transitioned several years ago, and I think is still building confidence in who he is now. We've hung out quite a bit lately. We've been in a group chat for months. We met in person in June. Since then, we've hung out regularly once or twice a week, and we text daily. There's been several instances now where I can see that he likes me and quote that way. Yes, girl, I'm not down with this, but I'm gonna do my best because you have supposed to be neutral. So I'm gonna do my best to answer her question. I'm sad about it because I only see him as a friend and I don't want him to get hurt and would hate to lose the friendship. He recently had his support circle uprooted, so I feel he has been especially lonely. As the situation is a bit delicate, I'm seeking advice on how to chart these waters. You asking me, the savage, to tell you how to do something delicately? You wrote the wrong person, chick. But I'll do my best. He has been working on this mental health and seems like he's in a good place lately. He was depression and had depression in the past. I'm worried that if I let him down, I may say the wrong thing. Any input on how to let him down gently would be appreciated, as I've never been in this kind of situation before, and I don't have any trans friends. Well, do I? I mean, if I do, I don't know about it, but no, I don't, because I only have like 2 friends, so that's not really something that I have personal experience with, but let me share this. It's fine for people to feel like they, should be something else. I don't have no problem with what you think that you should be. That's go for it. Where we run into the problem is when you have these ideas that you're something else and you want other people to accept it, and they're looking at you and they say, well, you're a girl, I'm a girl, and I'm not lesbian. So this ain't going to work. Okay. Same thing in reverse. If you're a man and you want to try to pretend you're a woman and then you want to get with dudes that are heterosexual, they have every right to tell you to get out of their face because you're not what they're looking for. So in this instance, a reality check is necessary. Like I said, every people have every right to call and say you can go out and say that you giraffe. I mean, I really don't care. But once you start trying to impose it on me and trying to make me believe it and treat you like you're that and be involved with you romantically and all these kind of things as if you were really that, then it becomes that's where the problem comes in, and that's why she's writing. So what you can't really do something like this delicately. When people do something like this that's so, that's so dramatic, such a dramatic change, they have to be mentally prepared for the people who are going to, disagree with their choice. They have, just like if I decided I was going to dye my hair platinum blonde tomorrow, it's going to be a whole bunch of people looking at me all kind of sideways and telling me what's wrong with you, you look crazy. So it's the same thing no matter what we do, how we dress, how we do our hair, when we walk around with black fingernail there's gonna be some people who are not gonna like it and don't want no parts of it. That's just life. Okay, you gotta accept it. Because you decide to go trans, you don't get to escape that criticism or that reality. Okay, it's gonna play the same game. It's gonna be played for you. So in this case, young lady, what I want you to do is sit your friend down and say, we have a great friendship, and I want to make sure that you understand the barriers and boundaries of what a friendship is. So, it's fine that I don't want any problems here. I don't want anybody going outside the realm of platonic friendship. And are you okay with that? If you're not okay with that, then we would have to cut this friendship short. But other than that, I would love to continue to be friends with you. I find you funny or just, whatever's wrong. Trans man is now a man was previous. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Well, still is a biological woman, just, trying to do something different. But that's what you have to say, to put the parameters around it. So in case your friend is trying to go in that direction, they will put the brakes on and understand that it's not going to happen. I thought they had like dating websites for people who was trans so they could find each other and do that. But maybe I'm wrong, or maybe that was something that was I read about somebody was going to try to do. I don't really know, but I thought it was a good idea when I was reading about it. But this is the unfortunate thing, and some of the guys that tried to call themselves trans women, they ended up losing their lives because they played that game with the wrong dude who was highly offended and felt disrespected and tricked. And so, they have to be honest. So I appreciate the fact that your friend was honest with you, but um, that still doesn't mean that you have to. Don't look at me, Mary Elizabeth. You saw me struggling trying to figure it out. That still doesn't mean that other people have to want to be with you in that gender's role. It doesn't mean that they're not obligated to do that. We're just like if you were too short, too tall, too fat, too skinny, too old, too young, you just too girl. And so she's not trying, you ain't trying to be with her because she's a girl. And it's the same thing. And I just don't understand why, people get all in their draws about it when people always have choices. They can choose who they want to be with. And if they don't choose you, then get over it. Just because there's some, politically incorrect things associated with transness doesn't mean that people are obligated to be with you because you want to be with them. There ain't no such law like that. And I don't really care what people say. If I want to be with a man, and you ain't a man, then it's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. So that's the best that I can come up with for you. And I hope that, that will work for you too, and that you oh wait, these are the old pages, these ones. Hold on a second. I gotta sort out my life here. Okay. Why did this print differently? It's the same printer. Mm. All right, let me switch this. All right. So these are the old pages. We don't need those anymore. Okay. Hey, Shay. I don't even know what to say to girlfriend. But let's move on. Question number, that was a heavy one to start with. Question 15. Oh, where's the, oh, okay, they're in the 22. She's in the 22 to 27 age group, and the boyfriend is in the 28 to 34 age group. She says, it's some of your issue. My boyfriend has a know-it-all attitude that is driving me nuts. I am 26 and have been with my 30-year-old boyfriend for about a year. I love him dearly and appreciate his brain and heart more than anything, but here's my issue. He responds to a lot of things that I tell him with something along the lines of, duh, or everybody knows that, or obviously, and it's getting to the point where I don't like sharing things with him. Okay, this ain't gonna happen. This relationship is over. I tried to discuss this with him and explain that when he reacts this way to things I'm telling him about, it makes me want to stop the conversation because I don't feel like he's interested in what I have to say. His response, well, I know almost everything, so why don't you ask me more about the topic in question so you can learn more and I can educate you? This just pissed me off even more. Is this a personality quirk that makes us incompatible? Yes. Am I being overly sensitive? No. If so, how can I work through that on my end? You don't, you get rid of them. I've never encountered this in a friendship or relationship with anyone else. I will admit my boyfriend is very smart and knowledgeable on a lot of subjects, but there's just no way he has the depth of knowledge he's claiming in all of these random areas. I could be talking about anything from American poetry to geodes in the agricultural history of Botswana. Terrible random examples, I know. And he will claim he knows everything about it. It's annoying as hell, and he is not joking. Wow. Well, how would I handle that? I would go to when my favorite thing to say. My favorite thing to say when I run into people like that. Okay, well, since you know every goddamn thing, when's the last time you won a Nobel? What did you get it for? And what subject? Okay. When is the last time you did a TED talk? So that shows you don't know everything and you ain't about to know everything and stop acting like you do. It's boring. It's like you can't even have a decent conversation with anybody because you come off like a fucking know-it-all. All you do is turn people off. I don't know what the hell you think you're gonna do with this attitude that you have, but you need to read that book on how to learn. The book is called "How to Make Win People and Make Friends" or something like that. Anyway, it's a book about how to conduct yourself socially. And I should have brought some water. I forgot. Shit. And so, dude is just he needs to read that book and adopt some of those policies. But in the long run, what you're experiencing here is a marked lack of respect for you in the relationship and what you know as a person, what you bring to the world and to the relationship. It's like you don't have any value because you don't know anything about everything like he does. So I'm not sure how long you're going to be able to tolerate this. Sounds like you kind of getting to the end of your rope, but this is some shit. By the time he did it the second time, I would have cussed him out. So you have great patience that I just don't have. I hate people like this. That little professor type like they know everything. Oh, well, thank you, Mary Elizabeth. Well, I'll wait a minute because I don't want to do it on the second letter. But yeah, I was in such a rush, because I woke up, like I said, I didn't wake up till 5. Then I had to run around and try to fix my face a little bit, get the printed thing out that Candace sent, printer drama, so it was like all these things that kept me from getting my water, getting my total setup here. So I'll do a couple of more questions, then I'll run over and grab some water. Question number 16. This is a female, 18 to 21 from Peoria, Illinois. The young man is 22 to 27. Summary of issue. I want to dump my boyfriend because his dad screamed at me and threw a glass. What? So this happened a couple of nights ago and I'm still shook. My boyfriend's 23, I'm 21, and we have been dating for nearly 2 years. His relatives has always been unpredictable. Sometimes nice, sometimes extremely hostile. I generally steer clear of them because they're volatile, but it was his sister's graduation dinner and he begged me to join. When I asked if his parents were okay with me being there, he said yes, that they were fine and just wanted to make peace. I reluctantly agreed. We get there and things seem fine at first, but halfway through dinner, his dad starts making smart ass comments about how I'm, quote, distracting his son from his career. I attempted to look the other way, but he persisted. Finally, when I quietly said that I didn't appreciate the comments, he snapped. He got up, started screaming at me in front of everyone, and threw a glass across the room. It shattered against the wall not far from where I was sitting. I was terrified. I started to get up, but my boyfriend begged me to stay and not make a scene. His ass is supposed to be leaving too. What the hell? I told him I was already humiliated and scared, but he just sat there like a deer in headlights while his family acted like this was normal. I wound up leaving anyway in tears. It's been a couple of days and my boyfriend has apologized, saying that he should have stood up for me. He also confessed that his dad has physically lashed out at him and on other occasions at his siblings too. So I guess, quote, that's just how he is, end quote. But it's not the way that I am, and I don't want to start to be that way in my life. I love my boyfriend, but I'll be honest, I don't think it's enough here. I hit a wall and this was it. Am I overreacting to the situation by wanting to leave him? Nope. I would have dumped him on the spot. Once he tried to force me to be there, where his father might start not even throw another glass, but like choke me or something like that, because he's that out of control. That would when I left out that door, I would have said, by the way, I'll never be back, and I'm done with your son and this raggedy, dysfunctional ass, violent family. Slam and get in my car and leave. Now, since I never go anywhere without weaponry, when his father started telling me, about his distracting his son, your son is a grown ass man. Why are you trying to act like he's a big baby and he needs a babysitter, somebody to direct his life? He's 23. He don't need nobody to tell him what to do. And if he feels distracted, he has a mouth, he can open it and tell me, or you or anybody else. So what you talking about? Then he would have got up and then I would have pulled out Oscar and said, keep coming. I will ventilate your ass. One thing we not gonna if somebody's gonna be abusive here, it's gonna be me. And then he would have set his ass down. So that's how that would have went. And then I still would have broke up with him. But one thing I'm not gonna do, you're not gonna be acting violent and acting stupid around me, or you're gonna pay for it. That's it. And come up on me, I'm gonna slice you because I always carry weaponry. That's all I'm going to say. So I've been like that since I was a teenager. I don't go nowhere without something. Something's gonna happen. You're gonna be bleeding in some kind of way. So I don't understand why this boyfriend is like this. He must be a very abusive household that he grew up in. So he's, conditioned to it. Like you said, you're not. And so leaving this situation and this man would be your best bet. The sooner the better. Question number 17. This is a female, 22 to 27 from Phoenix, Arizona. Summary issue, dating app drama. A while back, I met a guy on a dating app and he asked me out the following day, which I agreed to. I liked him. We got on together. He told me on the date that he was glad I was able to make it that day as he would be too busy for the next 2 weeks for another date. So around 2 weeks later, we arranged a date and went out to eat. I enjoyed it. We kissed and held hands. There was a lot of intense staring at each other without really saying anything across the table. He made small hints at being with me in the future. Of course he did. He also let me know that he had a work trip abroad the following week, but we made some loose plans to meet before that happened. So he recently texted me saying that he doesn't think he'll be able to meet this weekend as he had a lot of prep to do for his trip abroad. He's leaving tomorrow. As much as I'm disappointed, I kind of get that he's busy before a trip abroad, as I'm always so busy before my trips as well. He said it definitely would be a good idea to meet, though, and asked me, do you have any plans next weekend? So it'd be another week before our next date. He does work a lot. He has a business on top of a full-time job. He works weekends and goes to the gym every day and does martial arts too. He texts me once a day. To be honest, I feel a little disappointed about not meeting this week, but I don't mind waiting till next week as I try to live a busy life anyway. I suppose I want a mature woman's opinion. Does it sound like this guy could be serious, or does it sound like he's not worth the effort? I do believe he likes me too, just wanted your insight. The pace we're going at feels slow, and although I would prefer more, In all honesty, I'm not too concerned about needing to go at a quicker pace. Um, this is a situation where you date other people because he's not your man. Okay, and this long spacing between dates and his busyness and stuff. Please explain to me how, if you slept with him and started getting all kind of expectations of a future with this man, that he would be able to meet those expectations. This is what it comes time for you to use your head. Okay, just let's logically analyze this. You seem to have, you're observing it and making note of all of it, but it's not really sinking in what his behavior means. When you have somebody who has this much stuff going on in their life, there, and especially with work, that is a barricade to further emotional intimacy. Anything that you do with this man would be very casual, and it would be very superficial, and it would be whenever he wanted it because he have his quote busy schedule. So you would basically be just hanging around, waiting for him to make time for you in his life and squeeze you in. That's what you would be setting yourself up for. I want you to immediately go whatever app you met him on, go back on there and start to date other people while he's gonna be on his abroads and doing work for 2 weeks and all this other stuff here. You should be seeing other people, not just one person, two, three, four. Just it's not like you committed to any of them. Just go on dates and check them out. That's what you should be doing. You know what I mean? So you got to think about this as a young lady. You see the behavior. Like I tell you guys, men speak with actions. They don't speak with words. So he's hinting about a future. What future? What did he actually say though that would make you think he was serious? The man is not doing anything that's tangible. There's nothing measurable. There's no dates associated with it. There ain't nothing. He ain't invested no money in it. He hasn't done anything. But yet you thought enough of it to mention it. I want you to get your mind right, girl. You just a little bit too old for this. 22 to 27 still talking like this is meaningful. This dude is on some bullshit. He has time to go to the gym every day and do martial arts and all this stuff, and he only texts you once a day. See, I'm not seeing where he has any room to fit anybody in except for occasional romp on the mattress. He doesn't have, his life is not set up to be in a relationship. He's not trying to set it up to be in one. I want you to understand what's going on here and back the fuck out of this situation now before you get hurt. Where's the vodka? Ha ha ha. Ah, that's funny. I like that screen name. Question number 18. This is a female, 22 to 27, from Savannah, Georgia. The male is 35 to 41. Summary of issue. My boyfriend talks a lot about his ex. What should I do? Oh, I'm very confused at the moment about my relationship. Here's my situation. My boyfriend and I have been together for 4 months. He's 37. I'm 25. Wait a minute. He's too old for you anyway. But lately, he's been talking about his ex too often, for my opinion, and it's driving me up a wall. I told him that I don't like him talking about his ex so often. They broke up because she ghosted him. But at this one day, he brought a large dream catcher. I asked him why, and his answer was, quote, my ex always wanted a dream catcher in my house, so I'm going to hang it above the bed. That day was the straw that broke the camel's back. I was tolerant of him talking about his ex up until then. That day was the day I got really mad at him. I wanted to tear the dream catcher apart. But when I talk about my ex, he gets angry, like really angry. I always had closeted feelings for my ex, but I know my ex has them too. Sadly, I'm not allowed talking to him, and he still has photos in his house with that woman. At the moment, I don't know what to do. Well, I know what I would do. Every time he talked about his ex, I would talk about mine. Well, let's just say her name is Shelly. Shelly this, Shelly that. Well, yeah, Harold used to do this and that. And Harold, yeah, Harold, that just reminds me, Harold used to do this and that too. And then he would get mad, and then I'd just look at him. So then the next time he said, well, Shelly likes a dream catcher. I said, oh, that's a great idea. Harold used to want a dream catcher too. I said, let me get one, and I'm going to hang it above my bed. Just because it remind me of him. You see what I mean? You have to fight fire with fire. You're just being nice and getting mad, but you're not really like digging into his soul and making him feel bad that he's talking to you like that. But really, this dude is too old for you. Leave this fool alone. He on the stroke to 40, and you're not even halfway to. Well, I guess you're about halfway to 30. That is too much of an age gap. He's too old for you. You know. Yeah, you keep talking about talking about your ex, because I like to tell you guys, men talk about well, people, period, talk about what they're thinking about, right? So if he's talking about his ex all the time, that means that's who he's thinking about. He's not thinking about you, he's thinking about her. So as a woman, don't you have some pride? Don't you have some pride in yourself? Don't you have any self-respect? Why would you be around a man, giving him your body, your time, your energy, and loving on him and all this stuff, and he's sitting up there thinking about some other bitch? Why would you do that to yourself? See, so I don't know. I know it's like when I first started dating, we first started dating now, and this in the early stage when we finally, did the wild thing. And this fool was sitting up there, afterwards, people do the little cuddle thing and we talking and whatnot. And he brought up his ex-wife. And I sit there and I was like, okay, how am I gonna handle it? Keep in mind, I was real young then. Like, how am I gonna handle this? And then the inside of me said, fuck this motherfucker. So I sat up in the bed. I said, I'm gonna tell you this one time. It's room for two people in this bed. It's either gonna be me and you, or it's gonna be me and somebody else. So you figure it out. Because one thing I'm not gonna tolerate is you talking about some other woman in my bed. That nigga never mentioned her again. I mean, the look on his face. Oh, I need water. I'm gonna have to do it now, Mary Elizabeth. The look on his face was like he was like he didn't know what to say. His eyes was big like this, and he was looking at me because I was young and looking all sweet and innocent and everything, and he probably didn't even know I could talk like I had that kind of spine because I had no reason to be mean to him at that point. He was very pleasant, very polite, very attentive and romantic. I mean, he had checked all the boxes. Plus, he was fine and he had money and everything. So it's like there was no reason for me to raise my voice and really like check him or anything. He hadn't really done that stuff yet. But we that was the first time, and after that he never mentioned this. Even when we were around somebody and they would say something about how is your ex, her name, how she doing, he would cut his eyes and look at me, and then he would tell that person, don't ask me about my past, ask me about her. That's who I'm with now. And people would just look embarrassed. Yes, I'm going to go get it before my throat dries up because I was asleep for hours, and then I didn't drink any water when I first woke up, which I normally do. So let me find my little intermission thing, and you guys can bop it while I go downstairs and grab me some water. That's what we'll do. I let you guys hear the whole song, so people be mad when you cut it off in the middle. It's like, but I was getting my groove on. Why did you turn it off? So yeah, here we go. Where did I leave off? Here we go. This is what I'm drinking. Sparkling water, raspberry nectarine. It sounds more exotic than it is. All right, let me see here. Hold on a second. What's going on? Okay, that's better. Adjust my camera. All right, let's get back to it. We left off at in the question number 18, and this is our question number 19. This young man is 20 to 34. He's black from Seattle. The female is 22 to 27. She Caucasian. So issue. Did I do the most when I got up and let my girlfriend left my girlfriend's family dinner after what her dad said? Okay, so my white girlfriend is 27 and she invited me. I'm a 28-year-old black male to a family dinner to finally meet her parents. We've been together for almost a year, so I wanted to make a good impression. Dinner started off fine until her dad started asking me about my job. I work in IT, and while it pays well, it's not like some high status career or anything yet. After a few questions, he smirked and said, so basically, you just sit behind a computer all day. Not exactly the kind of guy I imagined for my daughter. Wow. Everyone kind of laughed awkwardly. I tried to brush it off with a joke, but then he added, well, maybe someday you'll get a real job so you can actually support a family. I felt my stomach drop. My girlfriend just said, Dad, but didn't defend me beyond that. I quietly excused myself, said I wasn't feeling well, and left. Later that night, my girlfriend texted me saying I embarrassed her by walking out and I should, quote, just let it go, end quote, because her dad was, quote, only teasing, end quote. I honestly feel disrespected and I don't think I overreacted at all. But now she's acting cold and says I owe her family an apology. Auntie, should I apologize or end things? No, you should call her up and cuss her out and say, nah, your daddy don't think I'm man enough, so fuck you and him. That's what you should say. Too bad you didn't say that then. Say, fuck you, old fat fucker. It's like, ain't nobody trying to support the family, especially not nobody trying to marry into the family with you in it. You got to be fucking kidding me. I'm out. Boop. And left. And that would have left him with his mouth hanging open. So you think you're such a goddamn prize and your daughter's so special? This bitch ain't special and neither is you. Now, would I normally say those kind of things to her? No. But in a situation like that, where she gonna let her dad disrespect you, especially the fact that you add in the color thing as a young black man, he's gonna attack you like that, and her bitch ass is gonna sit up there and not say nothing, and it actually side with him against you like it's supposed to be okay. Oh no. That's when I would have just turned and looked at her and unleashed on all of them, and then got up and walked the fuck out. But see, you're still young and you weren't obviously born crazy like me, but I just say whatever I think, especially in a situation if we playing the disrespect game, I'm not gonna be disrespected by myself. You're ready to get some too. So, and I wouldn't have gave a fuck that it was his house because you invite people into your house and then you treat them like that, you fucking asshole. And so that just would have been that. You know what I mean? So, dude, if you're gonna be dating interracially, you need to get more of a backbone because this kind of stuff, these little microaggressions and these little subtle ass put downs from white males and females are going to be a regular part of your life. You think you can get away from it, it's not gonna happen. It's bad enough when you dating the same race, they're gonna find some kind of way to, slide something in. But you like said before, you can always flip it around and, do it's gonna go right back to them kind of thing. But when you start adding that extra element of race issue, especially in the United States, with the history of how white folks have persecuted black folks and Native Americans for generations, then it becomes, it's extra tinged with emotion and historical rage, and that's some kind of shit you should never take. You never take it. Now, the white people that they all have better sense than to say some shit like that. They know better. I mean, I'm not saying it as a violence. I mean, they just know better because they have good social sense. They understand, the ramifications of saying some shit like that. And so they don't say it because they want, they're trying to be in the world and be respectful of other people's cultures and experiences and stuff like that. And those are the kind of white people I associate with. But you got some rogue motherfucker like this, and this is a bitch ass daughter. She's raised up with his mentality, and the fact, like I said, that she did not jump up and defend you and say something to her father, mother, dad. That shows you that she agrees with him. So the best thing you could do is say, look here, this shit here between us is over, bitch. I don't want shit else to do with you or your raggedy ass daddy. So he got what he wanted, which was me out the picture. So don't say nothing. Leave me the fuck alone. And then block her. That's what you need to do. If you were my son, I would tell you the same thing. If you were my son, I would probably call them up at that house and cuss everybody the fuck out and then tell you you're not going to date her no more. But you better be paying attention. You better pay attention. They can say, it's one thing, you young people like to go into these situations, all the happy, happy, joy, joy, thinking, well, I don't see color. There's no difference. Yeah, there is. And the fact that you can tell a red car from a green one, then motherfucker, your ass sees color. Stop it. What you're trying to say is that if you don't want it to make a difference, it may not to you, but you come from somewhere. You come from family, and that's all of them have your same attitude. There's a possibility that your chosen person is going to be subjected to some bullshit is extremely high. So you need to be ready, and then your partner also needs to be ready. Y'all have to be ready to fight together and shut that shit down because people are gonna try you. They're gonna say these nasty little digs. They might even say, "Wait until you guys have children," and say them to the kids. Either way, be ready to dig in folks' ass with both feet. Yeah, they say that shit all the time. I don't see color. I've cussed several people out that told me that. It's like, you telling me basically something that's an integral part of who I am, that you don't see it. That means you don't see me. How you gonna say you don't see that I'm a black woman and that's my whole experience in this lifetime and living in the United States of America. My experience that I have on a daily basis is me as a black woman, and you go sit up there in my face and disrespect me and say you don't see my color. What kind of shit? I don't know. They think that that's something positive, and they don't really, really understand until somebody breaks it down for them how totally disrespectful that is. That is just the worst thing you could ever say to somebody of color. I don't see color. That means I don't see you. I have whitewashed you to make you think that you're the same as me. Motherfucker, for real? You think that's a smart thing to say to somebody of color, that they just like you. Get real. So anyway, let me get off my soapbox and move on. But yeah, that bothers me a lot when people say that. And young man, you better get ready, like I said, or you better switch back to dating black women. Question number 20. This is a male, 20 to 34 from San Marco, California. Summary of issue. I'm receiving a large inheritance to buy a home. How do I navigate the situation with my girlfriend? My girlfriend of 3 years and I'm 34 and she's 32. I just started looking at apartments when my parents surprised me. Instead of wanting to pass down my inheritance after they are deceased, they're giving me a lump sum to buy a house outright, most likely a condo. The home would be in my name only since my parents won't take ownership and my girlfriend can't contribute significantly to the purchase, which she should not because she's a mere girlfriend. Okay, you talking stupid. You in California too? The state of palimony? Are you out of your mind? I want her involved in the search, even though the property will technically be mine. My thinking is she wouldn't pay rent, but we split utilities equally. No, she gonna pay all the utilities because you're gonna be paying for your house. Are there pitfalls I'm not seeing? She'd be giving up her studio, so if things went south, she'd need to find a new rental. But this will be significantly cheaper for her than renting. I haven't broken the news yet, and I want to know exactly what I'm going to say going in. Should I delay the purchase a year and rent with her instead? No, you shouldn't tell her anything. Let me tell you what you should do. You should have her believe that your parents are buying this thing for you, right? Then she can't say shit. And your parents are buying it for you, and you put the deed somewhere else where she's not going to see it, so she won't ever know. And you buy your parents are paying the money, whatever, and then you're going to be making the mortgage payment, direct deposit right out of your account. You're not going to have joint finances with a mere girlfriend. Not in California, you're not going to do that. And you're not going to put her name on nothing. You're not going to let her pay for nothing to connect it with your house. Like she could buy some curtains, the couch. Whatever she does, puts in the house to be stuff that she could take with her. Nothing affixed to the property. nothing to repair the property, nothing to improve the property, like walls and stuff like that. New plumbing. That she's not going to do nothing like that. You need to see an attorney. That's what you need to do because you are thinking stupid. Yeah, I could tell you to kind of let her be talked into putting her name on your house because you so in love. You dumb. Your parents are not giving you this money for you to share with them random bitch. Even though you say, "Well, I've been with her for 3 years." So what? You ain't married. You're not married. So you neither of you have the legal protections of marriage. So your property would if you put her name on your property that your parents gave you the money for, you're basically giving that means your parents have bought her half of a house. That's what that means. You're their child, not her. She don't have shit to do with this situation. So you keep your mouth closed and you don't say anything. She don't need to help you look for the place. You're going to look for the place because it's your place. I would suggest that you buy, if you can, if you have enough money, buy a single family home, not a condo. Okay. Because you talking about, you in your 30s, you might most likely going to end up married and having a kid or two. So why have to go through all the changes to upgrade? Then just stay where you are and just, improve that place. So if you can afford it, do that. I don't know what the housing process, what the prices are in San Marco, but think about that. But keep your mouth shut. You don't say shit to her about what you getting ready to get from your parents. Don't have nothing to do with her. Question number 21. This is a female, 28 to 34, from Albany, California. Summary issue. He updated his dating profile, even though he said he deleted all the apps. I'm kind of bummed, but not surprised. I can tell that he's not completely happy with my weight and stuff. He makes like comments about what I eat sometimes, so I had a feeling he was going to start looking again. But man, it sucks to have it confirmed. Also, I was previously in a bad relationship, so now it's a bit hard for me to feel comfortable forming connections with new people. So maybe that has something to do with it as well. Maybe he can feel me being distant, but I wish he would have just talked to me about it. He's literally the one who brought up the fact that he, quote, no longer needed the apps, end quote, and always says that he wants to be the only guy in my life, yada, yada. But clearly he's just a liar or wants me to be loyal to him while he continues to talk to women. Of course, that's 99.9% of men are that way. In a way, I can't even blame him though. I got a lot of work to do on myself mentally, and I'm the person I want to be yet. I think she means I'm not the person I want to be yet. I guess it's time to prepare myself for the whole "it's not you, it's me" speech. Then having to tell my family that the guy I've been talking to for months broke up with me. Ha ha! I just love dating, she says. Well, you know, you feel like he doesn't want to be with you because of your weight and stuff. Um, the point, what I would do if I were you, I would say, I remember you saying that you no longer needed the apps when we first got together, but I noticed that you just recently updated your profile. So I'm going to take that to mean that you're ready to go. And whether you deny it or not, your behavior says that you are. I don't need to sit around and wait for the bitter end. So let's just end things here. And then you do that. Then you just cut them off and block them. It doesn't have to be a whole big dramatic scene or anything, but you want him to know that you know what he was up to. And you say it in that way and you just be very calm. No nonsense. Ain't no negotiation here. We ain't going to talk about it and, you know, try to come up with a reasonable explanation or nothing like that. You just going to put it back where you found him. Okay. That's how you do things like that. You know what time it is. You don't need to wait for him to dump you. You dump him. And that will make you feel better too because it will be you standing up for yourself, demanding respect, and then respecting yourself. Because, a woman who knows a man is up doing these kind of shenanigans and she's just going to sit there and still sleep with him and kiss on him and call him her boyfriend and do all this other stuff until he dumps her is a fool. She's a low self-esteem having fool. Please don't be that girl. You see what time it is. Take action and be the one who comes out on top. Okay? Get rid of this fool. Question 22. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Ottawa, Canada, males 20 to 34. Some issue. I'm dating an indecisive man that doesn't plan. Oh my God, those are the worst. I've been dating this guy who is 31 for 5 months. I am 26. He's absolutely wonderful. We have common interests. Our chemistry is amazing, and we have lots of fun together. He cooks me amazing meals as well. See, but Shay, when Shay comes, like I get my energy back. Otherwise I'm just sitting here like all lonely, all by myself. However, he hasn't planned any dates, not one. I've never had a relationship where I wasn't the planner, and I am really good at planning and picking dates. I've never had a relationship where I wasn't planner. Okay, well then what's the problem? I'm usually the more romantic one as well. Last time we went out, I chose two places for dinner and asked which one he wanted to go to, kind of pushing him to take some initiative. He said whichever one he was fine with and just wanted to eat. So I ended up choosing because he did it. Every week, I ask for his schedule and choose the day, time, and date we will get together. It's been like this the whole time. I understand that not every relationship will be 100% perfect, but there are some things you will compromise on. But I am becoming exhausted at planning every week because I'm a student and work full time. He shows me he cares in other ways, but anytime he has to show any initiative, he can't. Even something as simple as choosing a movie. I don't know, he's amazing and I'm falling in love, but I just want to know how to navigate this or if it's something I just have to accept. Well, there are two ways to do this. One is to take, you know, okay, let me see. I have some little cards here. So it's going to be, say you've narrowed it down and you have two choices, or just make it three. Well, because I have three pieces of paper here. So you have your three pieces of paper. Okay, these are Rolodex cards. It's the closest thing I had. Yes, I still use a Rolodex. I'm old school. Okay, so you want to go to restaurant. So you write the name of the three restaurants on the little cards, and then you tell him pick one. This is the restaurant that we're going to be going to tonight. Now, what does that do? It makes him make a choice, but it's in a fun way. And I mean, you've already pre-screened them just like you would do it because you don't want to come up with, well, let's just go to McDonald's. You don't want that. So you pick three pieces that you would be happy to go to. Any of them would work. And then you give him the three options. And then he picks one, right? He picks one. So he's going to go, oh, I don't know, this one. And so then he's going to take this one and you flip it over. And then you say, okay, we're going to, La Central or whatever it is. And then he's going to be like, oh, okay, the next week you say you want to go to amusement park, or you want to go to a movie, or you want to go to lunch or whatever. So you write out your little cards, right? And one says amusement park, and one says dinner together, and then one says, I don't know, whatever the other one says, and or stay in and Netflix and chill, whatever. So then you give him the card to say, okay, this is what we're gonna do today. So you pick one. So he's gonna pick one. Well, she doesn't. She says she's in love with him. She's not ready to. Um, oh, that's good, girl. Look at you. I'm trying to tell you. And so, it's gonna meet her needs for him to pick something as well as his for the insecurity of not pleasing her. That's why he doesn't make a choice. He's afraid that he's gonna pick something that you're not gonna like. Now, what does this do? This take makes the choice of picking what you guys are gonna do more fun for both of you. It also lets him see how easy it is to make a choice and that, it can be a good time for both of you. It will encourage him to possibly try to do the same thing. You're not going to tell him to, but if he sees how it works and he sees the excitement right behind it, the chances are he's going to pick it up and try it too. Now, if this doesn't work, the other option is like I said, that's one choice. The other option is that you stop planning anything. If he doesn't plan anything, then you guys don't do anything. If he doesn't plan to get together, then you don't see him. He doesn't make any effort, then you just continue doing your schoolwork and do other things and see what happens. You stop rowing the boat and let him row it, or not. Let the oars fall into water and nothing happens. That's the other option. So you pick which one you're most comfortable with, and then you do that. But those are my two. That the way that I would handle it would be one of those two ways. Okay. And then if he kept not picking up the oars, then the boat would sink and the relationship would be over. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. It's going to be one of them. One of those will work. Okay. Question 23. This is a female, 35 to 41. She's white from Columbia, Maryland. Summer issue. My son is furious at me for telling his black girlfriend that she can wear a wig even if my son doesn't want her to. I'm a 30-year-old white woman out of my depth on this topic, and I'm too scared to ask anyone who is African American face to face, so I'm writing to you. My son's first girlfriend is an African American girl who we'll call Nina. Usually, when I see her, she's a bubbly social butterfly. She smiles a lot and is very talkative. They're both in high school. Recently, I noticed Nina seeming less confident the times I see her. Her change in demeanor was the most noticeable change, but I also noticed the lack of wig, makeup, and jewelry. I didn't even realize the two things were connected. One day I was to drive them to a party. My son was upstairs and Nina was downstairs. She looked like she was dreading going to this party, and I asked her what's wrong. She said she doesn't feel pretty. I asked her why, and she said she's still getting used to showing her natural hair. I asked her if she feels uncomfortable showing her hair, then why is she doing it? She said my son thinks she looks cooler this way. I told her I used to do things to impress boys when I was her age. I told her she can wear a wig if my son doesn't want her to. Days later, I've never seen my son more angry with me than that day. He says I'm a white woman and I shouldn't be advising a black girl how to look. Well, if you're a white boy, you shouldn't be doing it either. That would have been my response. He said he even called me an overbearing mom and a Karen. Wow. I was too shocked to speak as I've never seen him so angry. Was I wrong here? What should I say to my son? You should tell your little raggedy ass son that where did he get the idea that he's supposed to try to control what a woman wears and how she looks? Say, where the fuck did you pick that shit up? I've never taught you that. So where did you think that that's even something that you should be trying to do? A woman can wear whatever the fuck she wants to wear, go wherever the fuck she wants to go, and do whatever the fuck she wants to do. The fact that she is blessing you or sparing some time in her life for you, you ought to be grateful, you little wretched fool. And that's how I would talk to my son. It's like you ain't gonna control shit. And I will be in her ear and any other girl's ear that you bring up in here trying to control. And I will make sure they understand that you ain't nobody and they don't need to listen to you. The only person you need to control is your own little raggedy ass. And you don't have to do that shit. So don't be trying to act like you such a man that you're gonna be bossing every woman around. That's just not gonna happen, not on my watch. That's what I would tell him. And he can be mad if he wants to. But one thing he should never do, and I really wish this little girl would tell her mother that, so her black mama could get in his ass too, because this kind of stuff is unacceptable. You don't tell the girls what to do with their hair. You do not do that, especially black women. You don't do that. You, as a white man, you don't know what kind of struggles and what issues we black women have with their hair. It's like a whole thing. And so for you to tell her that, she shouldn't wear a wig because you don't like it, oh my God, she's too bad she's so young. Because otherwise she would have cussed you out. She was me, don't tell me what to fucking do. Tomorrow I'm gonna wear 2 wigs. Just for that, I'm gonna get a blonde one. Be looking like Dolly Parton and shit up in here. I would just work his nerve, every nerve, until he broke up or got over it. One of the two. Can you imagine? Question number 24. This is a female, 20 to 34. She's black from Atlanta. Ugh. The male's 20 to 34 and he's white. Oh, this ought to be interesting. Summer issue. I'm taking a break from friends for a while after none of them came to my engagement party, but I'm wondering if I'm just doing too much. I'm 33 and got engaged earlier this year, and last weekend my partner and I threw an engagement party. It was meant to be a chance for all of our friends and family who live all over the East and Gulf Coast to meet and have a good time. My partner has so many friends, it's crazy. He's very well liked, and it makes me feel proud that I get to be with such a kind person, so adored by hundreds of people. I, on the other hand, have only a few close friends and two family members. I used to have a quite severe drinking problem, and during that time, I lost quite a few friends. I have made amends, but unfortunately, I'll never be close to many of them again. Without sounding too victim-y, I've had a lot of trouble during my life with being used. Until I started medication for ADHD a year ago, I struggled with social anxiety and being a chronic people pleaser, amongst some pretty dark stuff happening. Anyways, I invited my three closest friends who I've known for 15 plus years, all separate from each other, and two newer friends who replied with, no, we can't, we work on the weekends. My partner had at least 50 people show up. Over the afternoon and evening, I got messages from each of my three friends saying that they weren't coming. My two family members left early. They aren't very social and got a bit overwhelmed, to be honest. Then my partner's parents brought out a surprise cake and gave speeches. They were all so wonderful and welcomed me into the family. But afterward, I had to sneak off and cry. Deb, I felt so embarrassed and disappointed, and normally it takes a lot for me to feel like that. It's not that I'm worried that his family and friends will think I am a friendless weirdo. It's that I was so excited to share these people with them, and I feel like I'm not at all that important. It's not the first time these people have missed important events for me. Since then, I haven't responded to anyone or gone out with my partner and his friends. Maybe I'm just being a sook. I don't know what that means, but I feel just sad. Nah, more like I just want to do my own thing for a while. I feel bad enough because I completely ghosted my friends, but I feel like there's a brick wall blocking me from getting in touch. Am I overreacting? Absolutely. Grow the hell up. Grow up. I know you went through some. I mean, when people turn to drugs or alcohol to deal with their issues, there's always some lack of maturity there and a lack of self awareness and lack of how to roll in the world and really interact with other people in safe ways. That's your escape from it. So I'm not at all surprised that you're withdrawing, but I'm telling you, you need to correct that shit. Your boyfriend hasn't done anything to you, neither his family. They treated you well, but here you are pulling back from them too. Stop this. Do you want to still be engaged? You keep this shit up, you won't be. You directing this frustration and anger at the wrong person. You're frustrated and angry at your family. So yeah, you can pull away from them, which don't sound like it would be that far, but you don't dare do that to him. He has not done anything to hurt you. But you treating him the same way you treating them like he done a crime to you or some shit. Grow the fuck up. Okay? The decision process that you're using here is really bad. I am not impressed at all. You can be sad, but you better get the fuck over it. Haven't gone out with your partner and his friends. Like, making him pay for their crimes. That's just wrong. You don't do that. Now, the thing about your people coming to your event, I want you to think about this too. I'm assuming your friends are black, your family members black, okay? A lot of black people are not comfortable around huge crowds of white folks. That's just how it is. Same in reverse. White people they used to say looking like a fly in buttermilk, but black folks in there with, well, I don't know what the one is in reverse, but it's like, a lot of people weren't raised in, integrated kind of environments where the races intermingled and, people had friends of other cultures, invented their homes, ate their foods, and, they weren't raised like that. So for them to go into an environment like that is foreign to them and they don't feel comfortable. They don't know really what to do, what to say, what to talk to the people about. They don't wonder if they have anything in common. And so they will tend to avoid those situations or as your friend, two family members did leave early. They did show up for you. So, don't be mad at them because they did show up, but they left early. And I think that what I'm just trying to explain to you right now is the reason why. So is that something for you to be angry at them about? No. What you should do is call them and say, thank you for coming. I really appreciated you coming to support me. I was sad that you didn't stay for the cake and stuff. It was really nice. And then you tell them about what the mother-in-law said and all this kind of stuff. And then you create a bridge with them to show that, these people, even though they may be white different, they're white, they're different on the outside, that doesn't mean that they're any different on the inside. They're people that love and care about you just like they do, your relatives do. That's how you handle things as a mature woman. But like I said, I see, like I said, every person I've met who's gone into the drug and alcohol land has problems with these kind of assessments and emotional maturity, what they call emotional intelligence. Y'all don't have that. That ain't your skill set, and that's why you escape into drugs and alcohol. But it's time for you clean you on the other side of that shit. Get your mind right. You about to get married, and you're gonna be married to a white guy. Okay, so this is gonna be your new reality, and your black friends are not all gonna be comfortable with it. But you can help them bridge that gap by showing them that these are people that they can grow to be comfortable with, and just see them as people instead of as white people. And his friends can just see you as you and your folks as people instead of as black people. But that's where you two come in and take charge. You all lead that. Okay. You running from it like a big ass baby. And I am not at least been impressed with your behavior. So yeah, you're gonna hear this and you're gonna hear me reaming your ass and you're gonna get over it. And then you're gonna get on the phone and you're gonna call your relatives up and you're gonna fix this. It's ridiculous. People just, and just be so old and just be still acting like they're 12. And I just don't understand it. Now I know she said she had some dark stuff happen to her and stuff, but get your ass in therapy and get the fuck over it. It's just, you can't let stuff from the past impede your and impact in a negative way your happy present and future. You are in control of that. You decide that. And if you let it creep into your life and fuck you up now, well, you're just making some dumb decisions. So you start taking charge of yourself and your life and your choices and your decisions. Think outside yourself and think about what you do and what you say and the impact it's having on other people. Okay, you need to think like that before you start having any kids for sure. Question number 25. This is a female, 50 to 56. She's white from Oakland, California. Summary issue. My 3 adult children don't want me to date and I need advice. Hello, this is a what would Deb do question. I'm a 53-year-old woman, mom with 3 young adult daughters. My husband of 28 years passed away about 2 years ago. The kicker is that about 4 years ago, I found out he had been cheating on me our entire marriage with men and that he had contracted HIV. I don't mean to laugh, but I'm like, God damn. Can you imagine? You've been married for 30 years, and for 30 years, he's been dipping out with other men and got AIDS. It was horrific. In some way, it made sense because he had not held my hand or even touched me in over 10 years. That said, legally, he had to tell me and our children about his situation. He also got cancer. Because he was so sick, I stayed married to him and took care of him for over a year until he passed. That was 2 years ago. The children knew that when he got better, we were going to get a divorce, but of course, that never happened. So then I started dating a wonderful man about 1 year ago. He's extremely thoughtful and caring and never wants to step on anyone's toes and respects the girl's father. The girls have met him and say they like him, but they are constantly making me feel bad and don't want him around. My girls are twins that are 20 and I have a 23-year-old. They told me it's because they lost their father only 2 years ago, and most women who get a divorce or lose their husband wait 5 to 10 years. No, they don't, not stay in their 50s. That said, my marriage ended almost 15 years ago physically, and for the last 10 years of his life, he became an alcoholic, was verbally abusive, and more. I don't know what to do. I'll tell you in a minute. You're probably not going to want to do it, though. I don't want to hurt them. Get over it. They've been through enough, but I also don't want to live 2 separate lives where I never bring my boyfriend around. I'm in love and I'm blissfully happy, really for the first time in almost 2 decades. I want to marry this man. He loves me more than I thought any man ever could or would with my background. I want to always respect them, and even though my marriage was horrible, I want to respect their father. I'm at a loss. I feel like I'm constantly suffering, but I don't want to be a victim either. I don't want to hurt them or hurt my relationship with them. What would you do if you were me? Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question. Okay, your girls is grown. Okay, 20-year-old twins and a 23-year-old. Now I take it that they live in the house with you. What you're going to do is sit them all down. We're going to have a family meeting. We're going to sit down and we're going to say, girls, your daddy was okay. I'm not going to say the word here, but if I were the girls, I would say the F word on the low low. That was what he was. And I was married to him. Do you know that I haven't had any nook with that man for 15 years? He never even touched me. We had a scam marriage, and then he's doing all this, and then he has catches a disease, and I still cared enough about him as your father to stay and take care of his fucking ass, disease carried ass. But what do? Instead of you realizing that I've already sacrificed damn near 2 decades of my life over this motherfucker, you sit up here and try to block my happiness, worrying about your own asses. Y'all, it's in your 20s, you're grown. If you don't like what I do, get the fuck out of my house. And this will be the last time that I talk to you. Because one thing I'm not going to do is waste any more of my life not being happy for other people. That includes you, that includes you, and that includes you, and that includes your raggedy ass daddy. None of y'all motherfuckers have anything to do with me and my happiness. I'm going for mine. You don't have to like it. And that's all I got to say. I'm going to move the fuck on and you need to as well. Now, that's what I would say if they were my kids. Would you be able to say that? Probably not. Because by the time they started talking about, what people do 15 years and all this old shit here, I already did that with your raggedy ass dick chasing daddy. He wasn't over there sleeping with me. He was sleeping with people that got the same equipment as him. So, I've already met that criteria. So let's move on. But, that is what I would say to them because basically I wouldn't really give a fuck what they thought, what they wanted, or their opinions or anything else. And I would remind them that I've already sacrificed damn near 20 years of my life behind that motherfucker and I'm not doing it another day. And if they don't like it, they can get the hell out of my house. and stay gone. Because one thing I'm not gonna do is have them around there with their sour faces and making judgments and shit about what I do with my life, and I'm only 53. You girl, please. You got so many good years left to do whatever you want to do. You and that man need to go get together, go on a vacation, change the locks on your house so them bitches can't get in there. Change the lock, and y'all go on a trip somewhere and do whatever it is the hell you want to do. That's what you need to do. You know what I mean? How you gonna be trying to regulate on your mother like that? You find out your daddy been fucking men, and your mama ain't had no male attention, no romance, no intimacy, no nothing for damn near 20 years, and you want to complain that she should wait another 10 years just so you feel better. You girl, you was good. To care about what they think at all, you were really a wonderful mother. Cause I didn't get that gene. By the time I found out that he had AIDS and he become fucking other men, that shit, I would have told him all the second he croaks or the second that I decide to, this shit here is over and I'm gonna give me somebody else. Y'all just better start getting your mind ready for it. That's what I would have said to them so they would be prepared. I just don't get, but I'm glad she said, what would you do? That was the perfect opening. Let's move on. Question 26. This is a male, 22 to 27, from Sterling Heights, Michigan. Summary issue. All hell broke loose when I refused to split my bonus with my girlfriend. Deb, I'm 27. I work in sales and I got a decent end of fiscal year bonus, just over $5,000 after taxes. Wow. I was really proud, and my first thought was to throw most of it at my student loans, which I've been chipping away at aggressively. When I told my girlfriend the amount, she got excited and started talking about us taking a trip. I said I'd love to travel, but realistically, I need to use the money to pay off debt. She immediately got upset, saying that since we've been dating for 2 years, my money, quote, isn't just mine anymore, end quote. What? Okay. She argued that, quote, money should benefit both of us, end quote, if I see her in my future, end quote. I reminded her that we don't live together, we don't share finances, and I've never expected her to spend her money on me. She said I'm being selfish and choosing debt over making memories. I told her that becoming financially stable is for our future, but she's been cold ever since and telling her friends that I don't prioritize her. Deb, am I wrong for keeping my bonus for myself and paying off debt instead of blowing it on fun? Nope. The only mistake you made was telling her. See, I just don't understand the people with these big mouths. Now, I got a $10,000 bonus from my job. You think I told my husband I got that money? I had a bank account that was in my near my mother's name, and that's politely put that money in there. Now, was I trying to do something sneaky with it? Nope. But it was my money. It wasn't his. It was a bonus for stuff that I did over and above my regular job for the ends that how I extended myself. That have shit to do with him. So it's like, and if he got a bonus on his job for doing something over and above, no, I wouldn't have even gave it a second thought to think that feel like I was entitled to it. That's what some effort he put out. That was some reward that he earned. That still had nothing to do with me. Now the paycheck, the day-to-day paycheck, I mean, we both on the hook for that. But you go over and above and do some extra shit and your company rewards you with a gold watch or, you know, some plaque or some shit or some actual money, that has nothing to do with me. That's how I think. I wouldn't want it from him. I mean, he could give me something if he wants to, but I'm not going to demand, I'm not going to ask for it. And the same thing, I put my money in the thing and I bought a camera that I've been wanting. And so, yeah, it's really interesting why you decided to tell her that, and she's just a mere girlfriend. She ain't, like you pointed out, you don't live together, you don't share finances. What was the reason why you felt the need to go and blab about what you're getting to her? She's not your wife. There's no reason for you to tell her that. So, no, you're not wrong. And you need to tell her, look, we're not married, so my money don't have shit to do with you. You need to get it straight. You ain't my wife. So you just a girlfriend, and I could trade your ass in tomorrow. You better understand where stay in your envelope. That's how I would talk to her because she just getting all out of pocket, thinking that what you're not your money's not just yours anymore. Bitch, fuck you. You tripping. That's what she would have got from me. Let's move on. Question number. Wait, what's that? Am I messing up the numbers here? Oh no. Okay. We on question number 27. This is a young lady, 22 to 27. She's Caucasian from Tacoma, Washington. Summary issue. I am worried about the financial differences between me and my boyfriend. We've been together for many years now. We've also lived together, and there's always been a gap in our financial situations. I'm 23 and he is 27. We both work hard. We both have side hustles so we can enjoy spontaneous activities and not miss out on things in life. There's a huge difference between the way we were raised. I come from a secure family, and I was also always taught how to be responsible with money and safe accordingly. I think she means save. I've always I've been saving money since my first job when I was 16. On the other hand, my boyfriend doesn't save well. He somehow always manages to spend all the money he makes and has little or nothing to show for it. I try to support him and teach him how to save, but he's just not interested in my help or opinion when it comes to saving money. I sometimes wonder how he manages to consistently spend his savings and money and have nothing to show for it. And no, he's not doing anything sketchy. He just has bad spending habits. So it's gotten to the point where I'm seeing myself paying for meals, bills, and activities, skipping fun days out more and more. No, I don't have a problem with treating him. Men deserve to be treated too. But I do have a problem with feeling like I'm the only one who is doing it lately. I don't remember the last time he paid for an activity, food, or even just a single flower for a surprise. Well, then why do you keep doing it? See, you're letting him by stepping up when he's not, you're allowing him to be irresponsible. You're encouraging that. What you're supposed to do is when you know he gets paid, it's like, look, we got these bills and your half is this, give me the money. And then he'll give it to you before he had a chance to spend it. And if you want money to it lost sound, how did that happen? Did it come back? Hello, hello? I don't know. The mic is showing that um that there's sound there. Okay, because I'm just looking at the little, it's a little monitor and it shows green dots. Okay, thank you. I don't know what happened. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, I mean this, you're stepping up and you're filling in the blanks for him, and you should stop doing that because basically you're treating him like a child. You're letting him do that. If he doesn't have money to go out for fun, even then you go out with your friends and you don't take him. He spent his money doing stupid shit. So that's how you have to do him. Like if he wants, well, why aren't you taking me? No, because I'm not your mother. I'm not gonna be paying for you like that. You're a grown ass man. Where's your contribution? It shouldn't be falling on me to be taking you out. I mean, what you trying to make me be the man here? Why you go and fuck around, fuck off your money? Then I'm supposed to step up and cover all the bills and do everything for you? No, I'm not gonna do that anymore. So if you don't pay your half of the bills, then I guess we'll just be evicted and get the light turned off and stuff. Won't have no food in the refrigerator because I'm not doing it anymore. And that's how that would go. And I do that to my boyfriend. I started eating out. I told y'all in Houston, the women could go to the restaurant and get happy hour food, and they had the little buffet and everything. You get dollar margaritas. I could spend like $6 and come home drunk and full for days with good food. And so that's what I started doing. $4 or $5. The buffet would be free. So, say you had 3 or 4 margaritas and then left a tip and stuff. So $6, I'd be out. So I don't know I don't understand you girls who would do stuff like that. Oh, okay. I don't know what happened. Let's move on. Question 28. This young lady's 22 to 27. She's Latina from somewhere in South America. Wow, I don't recall. Have I ever gotten any? I don't remember. Suburb issue. My boyfriend complains about money, but won't cut back or move while I keep spending and feeling drained. Okay, this is two back-to-back girls just stepping up. We've been together for 4 years, living together for two. We've talked about having children in the future. We have a cat. We built some big plans together. I even turned down a job to pay 3 times more just to stay in the same city with him because I believed in our future. But lately, money has become a constant fight. We live in a nice area of the city that's close to nightlife, so rent and expenses are high. I suggest making moving somewhere cheaper, but he refuses because he wants to stay near his friends and the bars he goes to on weekends. At the same time, he constantly complains about being broke. What frustrates me is a contradiction. At the supermarket, he swaps items for the cheapest ones or asks me to cover the bill because he says he is short. But then he goes out drinking on Fridays and spends on online gaming. He signs up for tournaments, buys booster packs, and sometimes even expensive singles for his deck. I don't know what kind of deck that. Anyway, meanwhile, after covering what he can't, I am left with almost nothing for myself. We also live in a country where the economy is already tough and prices keep going up. So every peso really matters. I've tried bringing it up calmly, but he doesn't listen. He either gets defensive or brushes me off. He is a good man in many ways, and that's why I have stayed. But with all the sacrifices I made in the future we were talked about, I feel drained. How do I talk to him about his spending and our finances without making it a confrontation? And how do I get him to actually hear me? He hears you. He said he's using you, and you sitting there taking it because you love. I suggest that you reach out to whoever this job was that you had the opportunity and see if that opportunity becomes available again. Then you take it and you leave. As far as apartment, you could give, you've written it's your rental month to month, whatever it is, give notice and then start packing and say, I'm moving. You can stay here if you want to, but I'm going to be moving out to someplace less expensive because this is ridiculous. And then you move and let him figure it out. See, you're not, you're talking, but you're not taking any action. And then you let him, convince you to cover stuff, and then you do it. Why don't you say no? Say, no, I'm not going to do that. If you want to eat, then you're going to pay for half of these groceries. Otherwise, don't think you're going to get any food because I'll go somewhere else to eat, and you'll be at the house hungry with your gaming. That'll be all you have to eat. Stuff like that. You have to, he want to go out drinking and shit like that. He got money for that. But if for the stuff that involves you, he doesn't have any money. Yeah, and she talking about having kids with somebody who's treating her like this. She'll be stuck with them kids, paying all the bills for the kids, all the bills for the house, while he just fucks off his money just with impunity. And you would have set that dynamic in place by how you doing him right now. I don't understand you girls. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing it. Let's move on. Question 29. This female's 42 to 49 from Radcliffe, Greater Manchester in the UK. Summary issue. Relationship property advice. I'm a widow with two teenagers. A few years ago, I met a wonderful man, and we're now planning a future together. He is a financially secure divorced father with 50% custody of his two teenagers. I currently own my own home in a nice area. We've considered we're considering adding a large extension, hmm, which he would fund, and then placing both our names on the deed of my house. My question is from a legal and financial perspective. Would it be wiser for me to remain unmarried, or would I be better protected if we got married before making this change? You're an idiot. You go and see, as they say in the UK, a solicitor and put your house into a trust for your kids. Okay? You don't put nobody's name on your house. That house is for your children. That is your legacy and their inheritance. You don't let some Johnny come lately who's supposed to be financially secure do that. What you do is you go back to him and say, no, I changed my mind. We're not going to do that because what we should do and what you should do, since you're so financially secure, is buy a house for all of us to live in. I don't care if it's in your name only. I'm not going to be paying for anything in it, though. I'll buy some groceries and pay some utility or something like that. And my house, I'm going to just rent it out and I'm going to keep it for my children. That's what I'm going to do. Because I'm suspicious. You talking about he's financially secure. How do you know that? What documentation have you seen of his assets? And how he gonna be coming and living? He's so financially secure. He moving up into your house. What man who's got his shit together does that? They bring the woman to live with him because his house is supposed to be better, and if it's not, then he's supposed to get one that is. Lady, you are not thinking straight at all. You about to get fucked out your house. That's what's about to happen to you. And say once you put his name on it and let him add some money adding to the house, then basically when something happens and you guys break up and you have to sell the house and you have to give him half. That's what's going to happen. So you please, before you make any moves and do anything stupid that's irreversible, go and see a solicitor and say, look, I have this house, it's already paid for. This man wants to move in and do this and that, but I need to know how I can set this house up so that my children get it and the house is protected. Please do the paperwork for me and I will write you a check. That's what you need to do. So then if he come back talking about, well, this and that, then you can say, well, no, I already put the house in a trust for my children. So I'm not going to be adding your name to it. And I think the best solution here is for you to get a house, a different house for us to live in that has room for everybody. Why don't you do that? And then you'll get to see if he says, oh, okay, no problem. I just thought you want to stay in that same house or something like that. Then that's fine. But otherwise, he should be getting a house for you guys. You should not have a man moving up into your spot. I just don't believe in that practice where women do that. I don't think that's the same thing to do at all. So you rethink this, please. You about to do something real stupid and fuck over your kids. That's what you about to do. Question number 30. This is a female in the 20 to 34 age group. She's African American from Tallahassee, Florida. So her issue, how do I deflect nosy questions of relatives I despise to the core? I am 28 and I recently started working in a public facing job and quickly realized I'm going to be running face to face into relatives I haven't spoken to in years. It's funny because we live practically next door to each other, but certain ugly things have occurred when I was 17 that can never be undone or forgiven. Given that I am behind the desk and they will be my fleeting customers, I can't exactly tell them to go eat glass. I have to be professional and process their business, but I absolutely refuse to answer even any remotely personal questions, and I know they will ask them because they are nosy as fuck. My mom tells me to just answer in the vaguest fashion possible, but I'm more partial to politely saying, I'm sorry, but I don't believe we know each other well enough to talk about our personal lives, or we don't have the type of relationship to chat like this. Deb, how do you recommend that I set boundaries and shut down nosy people questions on my job? Oh, that's easy. When they get started, you say, I'm here in my professional capacity and it's inappropriate while I'm on the clock getting paid to do work to talk about things that don't have to do with work. So I can't really talk about that, but how can I help you? And they'll be like, oh, because it's true. I mean, what they're going to say? They're like, I'm not getting paid to chit chat with you. I'm getting paid to do this job. And so that's what I'm going to do. So how can I help you? So, you can use your own words, but I suggest you make it as succinct as possible. Say, well, it's good to, thank you for coming in, but I'm here in my professional capacity and I'm here, not here to socialize on the clock. So let's, conduct your business. How can I help you? Whatever you can do to communicate that message. I'm working. I'm not getting paid to socialize. How can I help you? You figure out the words that you want to use to communicate those three things, and then that's what you do, and that's all you do. And they'll be like, "Can I get your number? How come we know we never talk this and that? Excuse me, I have other customers waiting." And they'll be like, look behind them, and say, "Oh," and then I'll get up and they'll leave, right? That's all. That's all you have to do. There's no need to get all emotional about it and go, give them any answer at all. Like your mother says, give them you don't answer them at all because you're not there to getting paid to answer their questions. You're getting paid to serve the customers. As when their customer roll, you serve them and then you send them on their way. Okay? That's all you have to do. And you keep your same smile that you have for everybody else because your boss and them is gonna be looking. And so then you know, now what you might want to also do just to cover your ass is after they come in, go to your supervisor and say, in the future, those people that just left are relatives of mine and we have bad blood between us. If possible, in the future, I would like to have someone else serve them if that's okay because they were there and I had to turn them away and remind them that I'm here on a that we're here and I'm here working and I'm not really here to socialize with them because they were really trying to pressure me to get into a personal conversation and this that. Now you want to do that preemptive strike for this reason. If they think that they can fuck you over, they're going to go and they're going to file a complaint. But she didn't even really talk to us. She didn't serve us well. She had a so that's why you want to do it first. Okay, so you want to go to your supervisor and you want to do that and you can even write it out and then uh put their names on it and then tell your supervisor these three people, if you really got to see them, those are the three people that are my relatives and I don't really think it's appropriate for me to wait on them if at all possible. I prefer that not happen. But you want to do that first. So if they do come around back and file some kind of complaint, they're gonna look at them names that's on your letter, and they're gonna look at them names on the complaint, and they'll be like, oh, they're gonna throw that shit in the garbage can. So you want to do that first. Cover your ass. Okay. Preemptive strike. Question number 31. This is a male in the 18 to 21 age group from Nottingham, England. Summary of issue. I think I need to cut off a friend because of her abusive relationship. I always try to be the big help everyone type of guy, the optimistic, supportive person in the friend group. But I don't know if I can handle it with this one friend anymore. We are both 21 and her boyfriend is 24. Their relationship was going downhill, so I kept supporting her and giving her advice. But they kept on breaking up and getting back together. They did it twice this week. The boyfriend is emotionally abusive and she has relationship OCD, so she just cannot let go of him. I can't do anything more to help her. I'm trying my best. I've recommended therapy. I've also diagnosed OCD and trying to tell her not to give in to her intrusive thoughts, but nothing works. And then she always comes back to me and tells me she doesn't know what's going wrong and she can't live without him. It's to the point where I'm mentally stressed and angry about it. Yeah, that happens. Would it be right to cut her off? Absolutely. I do want to help her, but it's taking a toll on my mental health and I'm at my breaking point. You can't help somebody who doesn't want to be helped. She likes what she's in, and this is what you're going to say to her. And you can send this in a text. You're just going to say, okay, let's say her name is Shelly. Shelley, you seem to be caught in an endless hamster wheel drama cycle with this man. Hearing your stories about him is stressing me out. You don't want to listen to reason. You don't want to make anything. You don't want to make a change. You don't want to improve your life. So from this point on, I'm requesting that you not call me and just forget that you know me. I mean, you don't have to put that part, but not call me and not involve me in the situation. Since that's all you seem to want to talk about, it's probably best that we just stop communicating altogether. You'll figure something out. I believe you will. You're a great girl. I think you deserve better. But until you think you deserve better, you're going to continue in this cycle, and I can't continue in this with you. Ta ta. And then you should send it. You wait until it shows that she's read it. Then you press block, and then you go on with your life. That's what you do. Okay? Because she is stupid. And you're right, when people have those kind of things, they just want to bend your ear over and over with the same drama. I had a friend like that, and I had to do the same thing. I had to cut her loose because it just, it stresses you out because you thinking you have a better opinion of them than they have of themselves. That's essentially what it is. You see value in them that they don't see in themselves, and so they continue in this endless cycle of bullshit, and it just is what it is. You can't do anything about it. Question number 32. How many questions do we have here? Shit, this is ridiculous. He just went crazy. Oh, it's 35. So we're nearing the end. Okay. So question 32, but the questions are long. 28 to 34 from Edmonton, Canada. Summary of issue. I see my dog as part of my family, but my partner does not. Oh. My partner and I have been together for 2 years, both in our early 30s. I have a small 10-pound dog who's 4 years old. I got this dog from a previous partner who wanted a dog but never took care of him. Thus, I took the dog in after that breakup. Fast forward, I met an incredible man. My partner's everything I've been looking for. However, one issue, he's never been a pet parent. We brushed this over, we got to know each other, and eventually fall in love. After a year and a half, we moved in together. I obviously bring the dog with me. My dog has a number of health issues, but he's being medically managed. He does his business outside. He's friendly, but he is scared of my partner. The dog unwillingly goes to him for a treat and will never choose to sleep next to him or cuddle with him. Obviously, my partner is upset because he cannot connect with the dog and feel like he doesn't even like the dog. Therefore, when something happens, for example, the dog pooped on his carpet by accident, he got angry and we just ended up fighting. It's gotten so bad that I'm considering letting my dog go live with my parents, who he had been living with along with me in the last few years, but I really don't want to. I love my dog so much, but my partner does not. How can I overcome this? What are the appropriate steps? Do I really have to choose between my boyfriend or my dog? Just take the dog back to your parents' house if they want it. The dog will probably be happy over there anyway, because he won't have to look at your raggedy ass boyfriend. The number one thing is if your dog is scared of the boyfriend, that means when you are not around, the he's doing something to the dog. The dog would be scared of him otherwise. The dog would just, be like neutral, like tolerate him, look at him like a science experiment, but it would be afraid of him. So that means he's done something to the dog, which made the dog be afraid of him. Animals aren't naturally afraid of people, that they see all the time like that. So there's something going on there that you just don't want to admit. Take your puppy to your parents' house and let the dog live over there. When you want to see the dog, you go over and visit the dog, and then you go back to your house as long as you want to keep this man around. Now, my concern is, when you have people who are this temperamental about a little tiny 10-pound dog, how is he going to be about a child? You better give that some thought because even though a puppy might be a little, demanding, a child is even more so. And you can't take them to live nowhere. You just end up divorced. So you think about that. The same kind of caretaking, attention, and kindness and consideration that you would need to show a small animal, or the thing that you would need to show a small human. I want you to reconsider this man. You talking about, he's that guy, he's the everything, he's perfect. No, he's not. Nope. Because, there's boyfriends that even, they might not have ever had a pet before, but they try to do, they try really hard. They bring the little pet toys, they take it for walks. They sit in there, hold it and stuff. They, talk to it gently. They give it treats, all this kind of stuff. They make an effort to connect with the pet because you love the pet. So they try to show the pet kindness, consideration, and affection as well. That's not what you have. You better rethink this situation here. I don't know where that came from, but something is the alarm bells are ringing. This man is not going to be a good thing to have around little kids. You better figure this out real quick. But in the meantime, until you do, take the dog over to your parents' house. Question number 33. This is a young man, 22 to 27, from Arlington, Virginia. So, issue I can't stand the incredibly low intelligence of my partner of 6 years. What, it took you 6 years to find out you're dealing with a dummy? I'm writing because I don't like talking bad about my girlfriend to anybody that I know in real life. We have been dating for 6 years. It's been great. We share values and beliefs in many things, and we genuinely enjoy spending time with each other. But as we've gotten closer to the serious stage of the relationship, marriage, I've started developing strong concerns thinking about the future good. That's what you should do. Because people don't really understand is a boyfriend or girlfriend, the expectations and the demands are different from husband and wife. What is good makes for a good boyfriend, the fun, the laugh, the sexiness, the spontaneity, all the hanging out and giggling, hee hee, kiki, and all that stuff. That doesn't always translate over to good husband. Husbands need to have bring a whole different skill set to the game. So you have a raggedy boyfriend, and then you try to make him into a husband. You end up with a raggedy husband and a divorce. That's what you end up with. So let's see what's going on with this one, because this dude sounds like he's put his thinking cap on. I would say this has been on my mind for over a year. I've been hoping and praying that it would go away, but it just won't. And if anything is getting stronger, that means it's time to dip out. I have just a gut feeling that I won't be happy in the future if I marry this woman. A lot of our relationship, I've dealt with basically everything, planning a 2-month trip to Europe and working on the day-to-day itinerary and places to eat for date nights. Activities we can do, helping her get a job by building her resume, showing her how to apply, and prepping her for job interviews, helping her with working on a healthy lunch for her work. It may sound controlling, but I generally don't want to do everything. It's just the way our relationship is, and she likes it that way. I've tried multiple times to tell her that I would like her to help, but she always replies with, I have no idea what I'm doing. This, however, isn't that bad. As I mentioned, I'm used to planning and doing everything for us. It's just become my role. However, as the years have gone by, I've always known that her intelligence wasn't very high. Pretty basic things are a struggle for her. She doesn't understand directions at all. Her math is really bad. She struggles with 21 plus 25. Wow. Even though we have been to Rome and Italy, she asked me if Rome is its own country. I was in disbelief the other day when she thought that the sun rises in the north and sets in the north every day. Seriously, how can somebody who has lived on this earth for 25 years think that's true? I would tell her, yeah, yeah. Your girlfriend is an idiot. I will tell her things that are important to me and she will forget them. And I'll need to re explain them a week later. I tried to help her with things in our relationship. Once she came to me upset because at her workplace she needed to use fractions and she didn't understand any of them. She was struggling with three quarters and one quarter, for example. I sat down with her and offered to try to teach her and make her understand. She told me, I'll never need this again, so no need to learn. Okay, did she even make it out of elementary school? Because you know they teach fractions in the fourth grade. Her emotional intelligence really lacks with the fights we have. Being completely honest and as harsh as it might be, I think about when we have children, she won't be able to teach them anything. And if she does try, it will likely be wrong. She gets upset when I correct her with a lot because she says it makes her feel dumb, because she is. I've tried to help her with simple tasks, but her unwillingness to learn is what is affecting me. I've spoken to her about this many times, but nothing is changing. I don't know how to feel. She loves me a lot and it would destroy her to break up, but I just don't feel happy anymore. How can you feel happy with a dummy? Woo, she's stupid. That girl's dumb as hell. I mean, dude, I don't even know what to say about your patience. It's just amazing. You I just cannot. I don't have that gene in me to be that kind of patient, to be trying to teach an adult that kind of stuff. I can't do it. Um, I guess you reaching to the point where you about to leave her. Make sure because she's so stupid, you're gonna have to set her up and say she has a job. So find her a place that's close to her job where she can, take a bus there or something like that. And then you pack her stuff up and you move her there. And then you be like, this is over. I can't do this. I want somebody who is smart, who I can feel like is going to be a great mother and teach my children stuff. Because, whatever DNA gene she got that's made her stupid, she'll be passing on to your kids. So you'd end up with some dumbass kids. Them kids be in special needs classes and shit. Them kind of kids with an IEP because of this dumb broad. No, don't do it. When I was growing up, we didn't know about DNA yet. So people would, get with folks and not know that this kind of stuff was, in the gene pool. They didn't understand that you could transmute stupidity, bad backs, bad eyes, and stuff like that to your children. So people would get with somebody just because they like them, and the next thing you know, they having a kid, and the next thing the kid's all fucked up. But now we know better. So when you see that somebody has these weird things going on and these weird afflictions in their genetic lineage, you don't have children with those people. And people are like, oh, you're talking eugenics. What the fuck ever. I'm talking about giving your children the best chance for survival and to thrive in this world. That's what I'm really talking about. Why would you have a kid with somebody who's all fucked up? Why would you do that to your kid? And you know that the person's fucked. It's not like it's, unknown hidden thing. You already know. You see all the signs. You've been with it for 6 years. Why would you do that to the kid? Oh my God, there's just no way in this world. Mm-mm. So, dude, that's what I suggest because, otherwise you're gonna feel guilty, and she's gonna be able to guilt trip you about dumping her and all sorts of stuff. So you sound like you got your shit together. Dip into your savings if you have to. Get her play first and last deposit, whatever it is. Get a moving truck, put all her shit on it, and move her out of your life. Give her. She got a job so she can pick up the rent from there, and put the lights in her name or whatever. Do all that stuff. But you need to end this. This isn't gonna go nowhere. And you've lost respect for her. So once you lose respect, the relationship is over. You guys are just waiting for the flies to swarm at this point. Let's move on. This is a question number 34 of 36, I think, or 35. How many do we have? Did I say we have? Oh, we have 35. Okay. So this is the next to last question. Young lady, 35 to 41 from Boulder, Colorado. Summary of issue. My roommate never washes his hands after he shits and always keeps the door open. Oh, good Lord. Oh my God. Okay. My roommate, my roommate shits like 3 times a day and leaves the door open from his bathroom to his bedroom, which is right next to his door to the living room, which he also leaves open. I hear little shit smacking noise. heavy breathing and splashes. Oh my God. He flushes and walks out. If I say anything about his lack of hand washing, he will put his poopy hands all over my face and walk away. Deb, this man is 35 years old. Not a, oh no, he would get stabbed. Yeah, like Ash. That Ash is reading my mind. It's always that one. I think Candace does this to me on purpose. He said that it isn't disgusting and doesn't get shit on his hands when he wipes like the rest of the world. He says it's unreasonable for me to ask him to wash his hands and that it's only his right hand. He also said, "Have you gotten sick from me yet?" No. He said he absolutely will not wash his hands. I told him he touches anything in the apartment with his poopy hands, and he insists his hands are clean when he wipes, and he doesn't have to wash his hands like me because I'm not as clean as him. Am I being gaslit right now? I feel insane. I would be moving the hell out. Oprah did and this was a long time ago. Oprah did an expose where they went around and they had some kind of way where they could see all the bacteria, see feces on different surfaces, right? And so they was looking at like the bathroom door handles, like where you go in and out the bathroom, and then like water faucets, public water faucets and stuff like that, and like those push door handles and stuff like this. All these things that we touch all the time and how many people were like your friend and spread bits and pieces of shit everywhere. I would never forget that shit as long as I lived. That was just unbelievable to me. It was just so gross. And then it reminded me why my grandmother used to always, my grandmother carried rubber gloves in her purse and out, they didn't have like these Clorox wipe things like they have now. She used to get alcohol prep pads from the doctor. And she would have her doctor order her boxes of them. And, so she would pay the whatever the doctor rate was. And then she would take these things. She always had those in her purse. And so anytime we went anywhere, she would wipe stuff down with these alcohol prep pads. And we always thought it was just the weirdest thing, but we never got sick. I didn't get sick till I got away from my grandmother. But she would wipe everything down that every surface that we were gonna touch. Like we went to a restaurant and stuff, she'd wipe it down. She'd wipe our silverware off with it. She just did everything. Doorknobs, I mean, backs of our chairs before we pulled them out, and she would use her gloves to do it. And I know people thought she was really weird, but once I saw that Oprah expose, I understood. Oh my God, the lights came on. It's like people are so fucking nasty. Even just think about when you're at jobs and stuff. I don't know what goes on in the men's room, but in the women's room, and it was terrible because I'm telling y'all, it would always be the white girls. They come out the bathroom, not necessarily having pooped, but still you touching parts of your body that's you need to use soap and water. They come out, they put their fingertips under the faucet and do like this, right? So the water's under there, no scrubbing, no soap. They just do like this with under a trickle of water and they fluff the hair with the water. So whatever bacteria and germs is in their hair is getting right on their hands. And then they do this thing here and then they get a paper towel and or they just wipe it on their clothes and then go out the door. I saw that for decades, that behavior pattern. So, and it was always, like I said, it was always white people. Y'all need to do better with your soap and water. And so, yeah, we just would be looking at them like, wow, that's just so nasty. That's just nasty. It's gross and disgusting. You don't know what them people been touching and what kind of poop and what blood and whatever else is on the handles for the bathroom that you touch to go in and out the stall, right? Because they came out with the same hands that you just touched, and then you just did this thing here. Ain't no soap on your hands. A bacteria that's from all kind of people is on your fingers, and you put it in your hair, and then you walk out the door. You nasty heifer. It was just so gross. I just couldn't believe the grossivity of it. And so, um, you sitting there living with the stuff in your house, and he puts his hands on your face. That's grounds to get stabbed in my world. But I suggest you figure out another place to move. This is just unsanitary and disgusting. That's just gross to the 10th power. But I'd say that's bug nasty. Woo! And our last question of this crazy column. This is a young man in the 28 to 34 age group from Grand Prairie, Texas. Summer issue. Was I mean for the advice that I gave my friend? I have a friend who is 28 and complains about how he hates his job, how he refuses to stay at this job forever, how he needs to pay off debt and eventually buy a house and buy a better car, etc. He'll vent and say he's about to lock in rather, and how he wants to be someone who other people can look up to and see a quote light burning in him, and how he wants to get into a college program and get a degree. He's 28. I have my master's and I'm a pilot, so I do at least understand the grit it takes to get these things. Maybe I'm an ass because after over a year of hearing this via phone calls, I finally got annoyed to the point I told him how I really felt based on his actions. I said, quote, if you're really serious about building a better future, you need to break your pattern and get a grip. You complain and talk about locking in, then a week from now you're at a bar spending money and hooking up with random women. You need to be sitting at home saving up, studying, and pulling all the OT your body can handle. Give yourself zero excuses. You don't need to go out until you begin to accomplish goals that align with your future if this is what you really want. But the flip side, if you're happy at your current job and with your current money situation, then there's truthfully nothing at all wrong with going out and meeting women. I just think it's a distraction from the necessary work to escape your current life. He told me I was an asshole for saying that and I was being too rough with him. I do wonder if someday he'll realize maybe I wasn't right on everything, but I do think my advice about locking in and zero excuses until he could get back into college was right in itself. But was I right or wrong? How would you have handled it? Oh, no, I thought you did good to wait that long. Because that's something by the time he said it the second time, I would have said, okay, so you talking about doing all this, but when are you going to start? When are I'm not seeing you taking any action here. I'm just seeing you running your mouth. That's how I would have said it to my friend. You running your mouth, but you ain't doing nothing. When you going to start doing something? So, it would be gentler than what you said, but it would have come way sooner than what you did. Yeah, I think he's right too. Friend is like, watch their index finger. Oh my God. I don't even know what to say. People are just gross. I probably wash my hands too much. But that's why I had to make I told you I made my butters, my little whips. Where did I put that jar? Over here somewhere. I don't know. Tara, my daughter might have took it because it's not on my desk anymore. She might have took it to her room. But anyway, um, soap and water, especially you headed into cold and flu season, avail yourself of it on the regular. This just some people just sound gross. Well, I'm glad you saw that. I didn't see it that way, Kiki, but I always worked around. I didn't really work in places where I worked around a lot of us. I was always like the only one, or maybe one of two or three, and everybody else in the environment that I've ever always been in has been Caucasian. Maybe some Asians, but mostly white folks. And so that's what I saw. So I can only testify to what I saw. If you saw something different, then that's your testimony. But that don't have nothing to do with what I saw. Now, that's um that's the end of the column for this week. We will be back hopefully, I try to be back. Let me see what I'm on Sunday. So if you are not a subscriber to the channel, please hit that subscription button. And if you want to submit a question, this is how you do it. There's instructions scrolling across the bottom of the screen. And at some point, I'm going to schedule a Friday night show or a Sunday sermon, one or the other. So we wouldn't do the advice that day. We do a Sunday sermon instead, because I want to talk about women and marriage and women and having children. And you know how people just keep wanting to shame women for not doing it. It's like it's a real thing with a lot of young women. They feel really conflicted. So I want to talk about that too, and kind of go over how society has changed and what new things are in store for women with the laws changing about terminations and stuff, and how that's impacting women's decision to even be in relationships. And so they don't even want any part of it because they don't want to risk getting pregnant, and risk, not being able to get a termination if something happens. So it's a whole thing. It's just, it's like domino effect that's affecting the relationships. I think those old men really thought they was doing something to help, raise the birth rate up. But what they don't realize is making women not want to be in relationships at all. So it's just too risky. So the idea of we're going to have more babies is not going to happen because women not going to be screwing these men, and they're not going to be dating them, and they're not going to be marrying them. So in essence, what you have basically done is shoot yourself in the foot if you're talking about you want to do it so you can have more children in the country. It's not working. It's going to be the reverse. So I hope that everybody uh, enjoyed that. And when I schedule it, it'll be up in I'll try to give you a few weeks of notice so everybody can put it on their calendar and whatnot. But until then, I'll see you guys on Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your week.